Hi, I'm Yvonne Turgeon from YvonneTurgeon.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about why you're setting goals that are way too high and not achievable, and how to fix that problem when you do set goals that are too high. Stay all the way to the end, because at the end I do have a free gift for you that will help you with setting your goals and making sure that they are achievable yet stretch yourself. So if you haven't seen my video from last week already, last week we talked about setting goals that were too low and what that actually meant for you and how to fix setting your goals too low so that you're setting goals that are achievable yet stretch you. And today we're going to go to the opposite end of that spectrum and talk about setting goals that are too high and what that really means and how to correct that issue so that we can end up in a nice medium spot where our goals are realistic and achievable. The three that I really want to talk about today include your mindset, when your goals don't actually match or they are colliding with each other, and the inability to actually reverse engineer your goal for the most beneficial outcome. Okay, so first, we'll talk about mindset. And mindset seems to be one of those things that a lot of people are talking about lately. And there's a good reason for it. So when you have a bad mindset about what you're working on, or you start to actually believe that it's not possible to do, it can actually affect the outcome of your goal. So if you start to kind of get to that point in your goal where you're concerned that it's not actually achievable, and instead of actually going back over that goal and looking at it and reworking it and making sure that you actually reverse engineer that goal properly, you start to kind of panic a little bit, and then you're not actually taking the action steps necessary to complete the goal because your mindset tells you it's not possible anyways. A lot of the time, this is when things like procrastination will start to come up, and other issues like that. So you'll start to notice you have a lot more time management issues happening. And it's because you're actually putting in subconscious resistance to completing the goal, so that at the end of the day, when it doesn't happen, you can tell yourself that it was because it wasn't actually doable, okay? Now the thing about this is a little bit of a vicious cycle. So the more that you do this, the more that it happens, the lower you tend to set your goals, and we end up in this vicious cycle of consistently setting our goals lower than we really should, or being very dissatisfied and feeling like a failure when we've set our goals high and we never achieve them. So then the next time we set our goals high, we don't achieve it, we start to feel like it's our fault. And we start to get down on ourselves, and then we tell ourselves more and more that it's not possible to achieve these goals. So ways that we can fix this include doing things such as your daily affirmations, go for a walk, go exercise before you start to do your to-do tasks on those goals, just to get yourself in that mind frame. Do some journaling or talk to somebody about the way that you're feeling, and try and get a third-party perspective on the way that your goal is and how you've reverse engineered it. Another thing to do is just listen to some music if you're really into music, and just kind of get your head back in the game. And that way you can continue to move forward on your goal without getting into that procrastination and time eating mode. The second thing that will lead you to not achieving your goals and kind of scratching your head and really wondering why that keeps happening to you is because your goals are actually conflicting. So there are two kind of ways that this will happen. Your goals will actually conflict with each other, or your goals will start to conflict with your own personal values and your own personal priorities. Okay, so you may have two separate goals. One is to spend lots of time with your family. The other is to get that promotion. Your boss is telling you need to be at work 60 hours a week in order to get your promotion, but that takes away from time from your family. So those two goals are conflicting with each other. If you're wanting that promotion and you want to spend time with your kids and it has to happen now, and you set a timeline on it, like I am now going to be home for dinner every single night, and then your boss starts asking you to work 60-hour work weeks, that might not necessarily be possible. And as a result, your goal to spend more time with your family isn't working, and you start to wonder why you can't seem to manage your time more effectively, when the reality is your two goals are just not coinciding. Okay, the other time that this will happen is if your priorities and your values are not matching with the goal. So if psychologically you truly believe that people with money are snobs, are, somehow bad people, they're rich, they walk all over everybody, they're bossy, and that type of thing, then if your goal is to make more money, you actually self-sabotage because you don't want to be a snob, bossy, rude, arrogant, all of these things that you'll sometimes associate with having money. And so you actually start to self-sabotage because your values are conflicting, your beliefs are conflicting with what your goal is. And so in order to make sure that we can meet our goal, we actually need to address those core beliefs and change them so that you actually value and believe that money is a good thing, because that way you can achieve that goal and do good things with the income that you earn. You don't have to be any of those things if you have money, right? But some people actually believe these things, and so it becomes really, really, really important to address those core beliefs if it's not aligning with your goals. And sometimes it's that the core belief is right, but the goal is just not right for you. And that same goal might be great for somebody else. It just might not be right for you. Okay, and then the third thing is incorrectly reverse engineering your goal. So as you're completing your goal, as you're working on your goal, you may come across tasks that you hadn't thought you needed to complete that you actually do need to complete in order to move on to another step. Or you'll get to a certain point and you realize you missed doing this 3 steps ago. Now you need to do it and then redo the 3 steps that were based off of that. And so this going back and having to redo or realizing that we've missed a step can actually add time, obviously, to the completion of the goal. And so at that point, a lot of people will just either throw their hands up or they'll just try and squeeze it in somewhere. And the reality is what we really need to do is take a look from that point where we've hit that snag and reevaluate the timeline. Reevaluate our reverse engineering and what tasks we're going to complete on what days. Are there things that we can combine? Are there things that we can shift so that we can still accomplish the goal on time, but correct the issues that we missed in the past? And even when we're reverse engineering our goal, did we leave time in our days, in our weeks, in our months, in our years for those types of things? So you might think it's only going to take 5 steps. So you've decided it's going to take you 5 days. And then on step 3, you realize, nope, I actually need to do something else. And now it's going to take you 7, 8 days to complete the goal because you had to redo something or whatnot, and you hadn't built in leeway time. You hadn't built in that buffer zone. So making sure that we go through the reverse engineer and make sure that what we're doing makes sense, and building in some time buffer in order to achieve those goals is super, super, super important. Okay. Once we've corrected those issues, our mindset, our conflicts with our goals, and whether or not we've reverse engineered our goals, at that point when we're reevaluating all the steps of our goal, the goal will become much more achievable, and we'll actually be able to complete the goal on time or with some modifications. But having a plan, it can change. Your goal can change. Your timeline can change. It's just that we need to make sure that what we're working on is what we really want to be working on, and we've set up the steps properly so that we can actually achieve that goal. Okay? So thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like some more information about goal setting, be sure to click on my link below and get your free copy of my 5 steps to goal setting. And don't forget to hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe so that you're the first to know when a new video has been released. Have yourselves a great day, and bye.